Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary and bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay. This time is going to be Game 2 from the Second Star Cup featuring Vast, our blue Terran. He's blue this time, not teal, and that means he's putting on his game face. He's ready for a win. He's hungry for a win because Dizzbanger, our red Protoss in the bottom left-hand side, took game number 1 with a very convincing macro play. He was incredibly intimidating with those 3 robotics facilities out there, just doing a lot of extra splash damage against those weak and vulnerable Marines from Vast. But Vast really showed improvement mid-game. He stepped up his game. He really got out the unit composition necessary. He didn't play to his strengths too much. He moved out with that initial push without stem. He never really dropped. He used some Vikings for harassment, but really didn't use those medevacs and do the drop plays that you would expect. That really is the major strength for a bio Terran. And unfortunately for him, Dizzy really did play to his strengths. He definitely had a lot of AoE out there, really had a massive death ball and dictated the pace of the game. Fortunately for him, Dizzy really didn't come to play with any force fields. I feel like force fields is definitely something he wants to incorporate. When you have that much splash damage, you really need to cut up your opponent into manageable chunks and hold them there, because a competent Terran is capable of stair-stepping backwards and really just making it so he minimizes the amount of AoE damage he's taking. And a good way that Protoss can mitigate that is with the force fields to cut off that stutter step micro. So I would hope that Dizzbanger is going to be, bringing that in. I feel like Vast could definitely take this by being just a little bit more aggressive than he was last time. He did push out with that timing attack, and it was really, really good, but I feel like he forgot stem, and because of that, he was kind of hamstringed from the beginning. That's something that I do all the time. It's usually metabolic boost, if I'm being honest, that I forget. However, it's definitely something any and everyone is capable and if they're being honest, has definitely done before. So we have Probe and SCV are going to be scouting in the correct direction eventually, both of them whiffing on the first round, both of them being successful on the second round. And unfortunately for him, Vast has succeeded in getting up that supply depot, so Dizzbanger's Probe is definitely going to be limping back home without seeing that very important gas going up and not seeing a factory anywhere just yet. Also, the fact that the gas is up there would tell me normally that we're going to be expecting to see a Reaper coming out eventually, but it's just now being saturated with those 3, so he does have a lot of doesn't really have a lot of extra gas hanging around here. Really doesn't have any gas to spend on that Reaper just yet. So we'll have to see exactly what sort of infrastructure Vast is going to be throwing down. However, Vast is well aware of the infrastructure that Dizzbanger is throwing down, seeing the double tap gas, seeing the Cybernex core coming down. This is actually identical to the first build, but if it's not broke, don't fix it. He got out those 3, and then I think he got a 4th. And then a forge and started up on those upgrades, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm very, very lazy. I'm not going to go back and watch the other one. You can. I'm not gonna complain, but you could totally go do that and leave it in the comments, because I'm a YouTuber, so you're supposed to leave comments, right? No, I don't do that. I'm not jealous about those. I don't want to be TB. So we do have a single Marine moving down to the low ground, and does this mean, oh man, Vast taking a very aggressive command center up on the low ground? This is actually a bit of a departure from what we saw last time. He was very reticent, very afraid to throw down the command center the first time, waiting a significantly longer amount of time, but I feel. However, now he's getting it before his orbital command is even started back at home. So that is very aggressive, very macro and oriented, and it also shows a little bit of confidence from Vast, because he feels like, yeah, I got kind of stomped on that first macro game, but instead of going for some sort of cheese, instead of going for some proxy racks with a tech lab and go for some sort of marauder pressure, I'm gonna just go ahead and do a arms race with you. I'm gonna get up my own command center fast, and I'm gonna get up my own orbital back at home, start up on my tech, and we'll see where the road takes me. Still no chrono boost on that warp tech, so it doesn't look like Dizzy is going to be very aggressive, or we'll have to look for Vast to be the aggressor. And his SCV is still alive despite taking a handful of pot shots, probably from the stalker. Really, really good scouting here, actually poking in to see that there is still no nexus, and he's going to be feeling absolutely fantastic. In fact, is he going to be, no, I thought maybe he was going to be checking the third to see if there was a hidden from Dizzy or something like that, but no, he's just hanging out here so that he can scout later on, which is actually a really, really good play from Vast. However, last time we saw Dizzy was being very very aggressive with his scouting from the Mothership Core, so he might be able to pick that off eventually if he gets lucky, or maybe Vast is going to get unlucky. Robotics Facility is almost going to be finishing. Both players are beginning to stack up quite a lot of gas. We're going to be seeing the tech from both players kind of explode. Still no orbital command down on that low ground, and we don't see any add-ons to either of these barracks, so I'm really hoping we're going to see a tech lab. Oh, no, there's the tech lab. Awesome. Tech lab going down on the barracks right next to another barracks. Okay, not a factory. I thought maybe, it was going to switch it up and get us some siege tanks or something like that, but nope. This is hopefully for the tech. Very important tech decision coming up. And you start up on that combat shield, start up on the stem. Really depends enormously upon how aggressive you really want to be. I favor very much getting the stem first and foremost, because not only is it a very aggressive, but it's also can be used defensively. It can, allows you to outrun the Mothership Core, get underneath it and crush it whenever it's trying to scout off, but also allows you to outrun any stalkers that are closing in on your Marines, get them back home, get them back to safety. However, it significantly decreases the longevity of those Marines, making it so that you have to tech very quickly to those medevacs. Second robotics facility on the way, getting out that support bay very quickly. In fact, before his third robotics facility, so another departure, this time from Dizzy. So very, very cool. Also starting up double forges. Oh, I guess he canceled the robotics support bay, I guess. Yeah, he did. Double tapping those forges though. So yeah, back to normal. Back to normal for Dizzy. But again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I totally agree with that decision. Still nothing from that tech lab. Keep an eye out on that for me. If you notice it, just tap me on the shoulder and I will mention that something is being researched up on the top of it. +1 on the way for Vast, but still no armor. And yeah, he's got double tech labs. He's still waiting on it. I'm waiting too. He's got that orbital command up on the low ground also, but hasn't quite worked on that saturation. We'll expect to see that in a relatively short amount of time. Ooh, what's this? Okay, it's an observer. Oh, I was getting excited, guys. I was thinking maybe the Mothership Core or Probe was moving out, going to be throwing out a proxy, because, behold, production tab no longer showing us the warp gate tech. We have warp gates out on the field. He can be aggressive, ladies and gentlemen. +1/+1 being started, not being chrono boost, so probably not a good idea to be hyper aggressive, especially with stem. Combat shield +1 all getting started. Ooh, this timing is going to be sweet. It looks like stem's going to be finishing last, maybe 40 seconds after the combat shield or something like that, but still having all of them start at the same time is really going to make his bio units incredibly intimidating earlier on than they were last time. Especially with the medevac also being started. Vast is looking like he's definitely wizened up, is going to be significantly more intimidating. Ooh, finishing up that other engineering bay. We'll be able to start armor in just a handful of seconds, I'm sure. He's definitely got the money, definitely got the minerals, but does he have the time? Another starport also being added on. +1/+1 is really the only thing being made by Dizzy, but he does have a nice standing army back at home. There goes the scan by Vast. Really, really good idea. Wants to stay on top of how many units are out there. If he saw like a Colossus here, is definitely panic time. However, seeing just this small number, it might actually goad him into moving out, because +1 and combat shields are going to be finishing. If he moves out now, stem would probably be, I guess not. It would be close to being done by the time he was arriving at that front door. And he's selected his units. Is he going to be moving out? I don't know. He's taunting me. He's taunting me. +1 armor is now being started by Vast. 1/1 is finishing up for Dizzy, and he's making immortals. Wow, seeing how many Marauders were built last time by Vast, maybe Marauders or Immortals aren't the worst idea in the world. They're definitely a nice stopgap between the Colossus that he made a lot last time, and we do have a robotics bay being constructed, so I expect to see fully the Colossus are going to make a triumphant return. However, this is definitely a triumphant move out. He doesn't have any medevacs supporting this, but 3 medevacs are on the production tab, will be popping out in a very short amount of time, and with a little bit of boost and maybe making these guys wait for a handful of seconds, they'll definitely arrive, and stem is going to be finishing up too. So this could definitely work if they weren't on the move command. They're moving, walking right past the zealot, taking a lot of extra damage. Not the worst things in the world, just a little bit here and there. Oh, a hidden expansion in the top left hand side for Vast, and yeah, we do see the medevacs are now moving out, so that's a really nice flight. We have a reactor too. I wonder what the ping is for. Is it that he forgot a handful of units? I'm not 100% sure, but this is definitely far more important. The fact that these medevacs are moving out, the observer also having enough time to kind of catch up to this. And what do we have waiting back at home? Handful of immortals. A lot of Stalkers, a lot of Zealots, but nothing else. We do have 2 Colossus going to be popping out from the production tab, though, and those will definitely be representing a hell of a lot of DPS. However, only one of them is done in time. There is a chrono boost on the other one. Here comes the Marauders. I don't think this is going to be enough. Without Stutter Step, he needs to move back. He cannot just sit there and take it, and that is exactly what he's doing. The Colossus just railing down so much extra damage. Really no Stutter Step at all from those Marauders, but he still did a decent amount of damage. And more importantly, he's kind of goaded Dizzbanger into moving out. He's kept this army in check, realizes that there's a Colossus there. He's beginning to pull back, and he does have a nice infrastructure back at home. Remember, he's got that hidden expand on the top left-hand side. Does he have an orbital at the natural? He does. Absolutely fantastic. He's going to be able to blow down quite a lot of mules in this hidden expand, really get his money's worth back very, very quickly. However, the army from Dizzbanger is beginning to spiral out of control. He's already got 1 Colossus out on the field, and a 2nd and 3rd and 4th are going to be constructed in a very short amount of time. I remember he was making 1. It popped out. Did he lose the other one? No. It's just behind the mothership. You can see it now. Okay, absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. 3rd is done, but not saturated. These guys are just kind of hanging out, not really doing anything. Supply is actually incredibly close for how booming Dizzbanger's economy is. 61 over 51. In fact, Vast is doing a much better job keeping pace with Dizzbanger's economy. Dizzbanger definitely blowing a lot of money now, not so much in the production of probes as it is with those Colossus, adding on 7 gateways back at home. Really just determined to spin through this enormous bank that he's beginning to accumulate. Obviously, gas is going to be the limiting factor, and this expansion would definitely help him if he elected to take these Vespene geysers. Even with these 3 probes, he could definitely start to bring in some extra gas. Excellent. Vast beginning to realize his true potential. This is like the moment in every action movie where the guy remembers who he is and, uses the move that his grandfather taught him on his deathbed or something like that. Bio Army is made for drops, and we have 2 medevacs moving in with a hearty plethora of units, and they're going to be able to drop everything and just crush these probes. Maybe even get a snipe on that. Oh, the transfer of probes at the same time. Vast dropping his Marauders back. Really good unit control from Dizzbanger, pulling them, but electing to fight rather than retreat. Actually retreating with the majority of his units. Okay, Vast needs to lift off right now. He's not going to be able to get the snipe on that Nexus, and as soon as the Colossus arrives on scene, they're just doing way too much damage, more than a handful of pot shots on that medevac. Where is the boost? He needs to do the boost. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Vast just barely survived with 10 hit points, just a single stalker shot away from taking that down, actually with just +1. Oh yeah, yep, 11 damage. You got it. The medevac would have died. Fantastic play by Vast. Really just, that is exactly what he needs to do. And in fact, he doesn't even need to retreat with that medevac. Obviously, the one in the red, you do need to kind of, pull back. But he could have popped it off to the top left-hand side. And, oh yeah, that is a bit of a shame that all those gateways are done, but not quite made into warp gates just yet. There they go. Extended thermal lance being started just now, but wow, look at all these upgrades. +2 on the way. We've got vehicle weapons plating just to improve the durability of not only the Vikings, but also those medevacs. We don't see the gas being tapped here, and so yeah, Protoss has a massive mineral bank, but the gas bank is still going to be that limiting factor, especially as he starts to produce more and more Stalkers, as we saw in the last game. Twilight Council being started, remember, he had Blink at about this time, so Vast is really doing a much better job this time around. In fact, he's really got a nice air fleet too. He's beginning to produce those Vikings, because the sheer volume of medevacs that he has out right now is enough for him to drop and also support his medevacs. So I'm really liking Vast's position right now. The only thing I can fault him for is he really hasn't taken any form of economic lead. He's got a hell of a lot of extra minerals. Throw down a planetary fortress here, a planetary fortress here, and then a planetary fortress like here. Just because you've got so many extra minerals, and those hard points are definitely going to make it far more difficult for the incoming push from Dizzbanger to actually work. At the same time, he's staying on top of all of his production. Just look at this Terran war machine just roll out unit after unit. 150 over 171 supply, but that's probably because the Colossus are incredibly mineral intensive. In fact, his army, Dizzbanger's army, is kind of spread in all sorts of different locations. 15 Stalkers. Where are they? They've got to be, maybe he's hanging out over here. No? Huh. It's hard for me to believe that 172 supply is spread out right here, but I guess it is spread very, very thin. So many Colossus so many zealots as well as stalkers. We don't see charge for those zealots just yet. That's definitely something that would come in handy. Another blink. We are aware of those Vikings. I am totally aware of those Vikings. I think that is a fantastic play from Vast. Something we don't see from Dizzbanger just yet are those DTs. We saw a lot of oh my goodness, we saw a lot of those DTs, and you know what would help this is an expansion, maybe a planetary fortress here, or possibly here. We saw last game was a bunch of DTs, and those DTs did a lot of damage and really helped Dizzbanger kind of catapult farther into the lead than he actually had. And Dizzy's definitely staying on top of his expansions. We don't have a third being constructed. There we go. Absolutely fantastic. Vast is electing to build his third now, and while he has had a third for an extended period of time in the top left hand side, I'm talking about the traditional third, the actual location of a third that you would expect a third to be constructed on. A fourth and fifth, nope. Third and fourth robotics facility being constructed right now for Dizzbanger. He's got two Colossus just kind of hanging out right here. In fact, they're very difficult to see in the middle of all those warp gate techs, so I'm not 100% sure if he's aware of them just yet. We will see if in the final battle, which I can only hope is very, very soon, because really we're at 200 supply. What are you waiting for? More tech? +1/+1 is done. +2/+2 is coming. But really, Terran's at 2-2. He needs to get up to 3-3. He needs to get that armory out there. In fact, oh yeah, he's already got it. I knew that. He got armor for his Vikings. I knew that was out there. I did. 2 Stargates being constructed, but with no supply available. I'm not sure how helpful they're going to be. I guess this also explains the supply discrepancy. Some Stalkers are spattered around just to defend against any potential for those drops. A lot of the Marines and Marauders are moving out there with a handful of the medevacs too, but I think he's leaving behind a healthy chunk of units. Yeah, handful of medevacs here and there, a handful of Marines and Marauders, just kind of haphazardly positioned just in case some sort of a run by happens. Remember, we are afraid about those DTs. And oh no, he didn't build a command center. He didn't build a command center, and he's not bringing those SCVs with him. So is he just like ridiculously over? Oh goodness, he's just ridiculously oversaturated at his natural right now. So this is actually make or break it time for Vast, because his economy is not going to be looking very good as soon as his natural is totally taken care of. However, this could be brutal. If Dizzbanger elects to actually engage in this open area, the concave will be monstrous for those Marines and Marauders. This entire bio army stemming way too early, moving in here, is going to get the snipe on the Nexus that's not being charged. However, Vast is now just funneling all of his units into this narrow choke, is not pulling back. The Zealots are keeping everything from pushing forward, and with the extended thermal lance, the 5 Colossus are having no problem at all, melting away. And once again, the Vikings arriving just too late to the battle, and now the Stalkers are no longer distracted by anything on the ground, and the Vikings do not have the time of day to actually crush anything here. But in the 0 hour, Vast striking in once more with a nice little strike force of Marauders and Marines trying to snipe down the Nexus. He gets the kill on that Nexus. All of a sudden, Dizzbanger is on a 1 base economy, 5k minerals and almost 3k gas saved up. He doesn't even care. He can just rebuild both of those Nexus. This would be a brutal coup. This would be a crushing blow if Vast was capable of doing that in a pro game where no one has any form of gas. But because Dizzbanger has been supply capped for so long, he's got so many minerals left over, he can just rebuild both of those Nexus and keep his production at 100% while he gets both of those unit producing structures made. One of those Colossus are actually, I know what this is. This Colossus cannot be built because there were things right next to it, not because he was supply blocked, I believe. Why isn't it finishing? I'm not 100% sure. It could be that he's supply blocked, but no, he's got like 9 supply available right now. So I'm not 100% sure what the hold up is. That I think it might be that he cannot spawn because there are units all around it. And by units, I mean structures. Instead, Vast is forced to retreat, but really, he's actually got a lot of minerals and gas saved up right now. He just doesn't have the infrastructure firing on all cylinders to actually get out the sheer volume of units necessary to hold off the impending push. Look at this long distance mine Congo line of all these probes. That is absolutely ludicrous. It's also ludicrous that Dizzbanger's not moving out right now. I mean, he's got a ridiculous supply advantage. He kept alive so many of those Colossus, and he needs to just continue onward with 2 of these Colossus. He is making another one, and that's so weird that it's not being made. This one's not being made either. Oh, it's because he's supply blocked. That's because he's supply blocked. I get that one. But not this one. I don't get that one. Phoenix is on the way. He's got the DT Shrine out there, but no DTs being added into this mix. Nope, I lied. 4 DTs being added into this mix is actually a really cool play. I would make him into Archons just to make my life a little bit simpler, but if he's choosing to attack with his main force over here and then split off his DTs to the top left-hand side, that's definitely something that could do quite a lot of damage while Vast is very distracted. We can see that the third has been retaken by Dizzbanger, the fourth is being secured right now, the third is being taken by Vast, and we don't see anything over here just yet, but the observer is watching to see if there's going to be a moment of weakness, and 197 supply, that last Colossus, is going to be popping out and poking him over to 199. I'll round it to 200, whatever. Vast is at the gross supply of 144, and that's decent, especially considering the fact that he's going to be on 3-3 in a handful of seconds, and +3 is actually, oh wow, he's caught up. Remember, Dizzbanger was on 1-1 just a handful of seconds ago, and now he's at 2-2, and +3 weapons is going to be popping in just a handful of seconds. Dizzbanger pushing forward without blink for his stalkers, but that's actually going to work to his favor because in the previous engagements he's elected to blink forward, this time keeping his stalkers back a little bit, making it so that the Marauders can only engage a handful of them at a time, really buying a lot of extra time for his Colossus. The Vikings move in from the north side, spattering down just a handful of volleys on top of these Colossus. Probably going to be able to clean them up eventually, but no, those stalkers get underneath them and really not utilizing the extra range of those Vikings to the fullest of their potential, but a nice flank nonetheless. At 175 supply over 80 supply, I think Vast is going to have to tap out. I feel like he definitely improved from the previous game, but with 4 DTs working on your only mineral line that's actually actively mining, there's really not a lot that Vast can do, even with a bank as vast as the one he currently has. So Dizzbanger is going to be moving forward, is going to be doing Death Blow. In just a handful of seconds, I'm sure Vast is going to tap out. You're always reluctant to tap out on that last battle. Remember, this is a best of 3, and as Dizzy did take the first one, this will knock Vast down to the loser's bracket. And mind you, I say loser's bracket because he's not out of this tournament. He's gonna, he's gonna rally. He's gonna have several other games that he can play in this, and I'm sure that if he was up against another skill player, maybe someone who's Zerg, maybe someone who's Protoss but of a different style, he can really shine. Hats off to Vast for improving his gameplay, because I feel like he really did refine his build. His timing attack with the +1 stim and combat shield was infinitely better than the one in the first game. And then Dizzbanger really just kept his head. He kept the lead. He is very good at macro. So, I mean, what else is there to say? He ridiculously powers on Protoss. He definitely plays to his strength, and I think that Vast remembered his strength. He remembered that drops happen. He remembered that the good players are the ones that are splitting up your opponent, making it so that you're attacking in many different locations, but that is so very hard to do. So Vast definitely showing a lot of potential, and I feel like he's going to be absolutely fantastic when he gets the knack of actually doing drops and, realizing when it is safe to pull back and when you've done enough damage to actually justify this blow. That's basically it. I mean, these games were significantly better than what I was afraid of. I was reading the descriptions, and they were just like, these games are terrible. They're bad on purpose. We hate ourselves. I listened to Linkin Park and stuff like that, and I was afraid. And I can tell you that I'm not afraid anymore. And I'm ready for the next best of 3. So yeah, stop by, cast it, see who else is going to be casting these. I am Big and Scary. If you guys like what you heard, feel free to stop by and maybe shoot me a link to a game you want cast. I cast games of any skill level. I'm here, and I'm also on Reddit, so